one. So Russell Westbrook has had a much better year with the Los Angeles Lakers as opposed to last year. He's really bought in and embraced that six-man role. I mean, he even had a triple-double, first one since Magic Johnson coming off the bench, and just has really kind of turned around and kind of even won over most Laker fans. And many people want to see Russell Westbrook continue to play, continue to perform. Many people are curious to see, like, how will he perform come playoff time? Will they be able to make this work enough to, maybe raise Larry O'Brien, something like that? And what other options can the Lakers have to kind of build around Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, right? Take Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, take those two, and then unload them for some pieces, hopefully a quality piece or two. And the Lakers, based on reports, have three options, three routes that they're looking at, right? Trading Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, trading Russell Westbrook, or trading all three. And when it comes to trades, I think most likely what happens is the Lakers do the Bev and Nunn trade, do some little minor deal, end up unloading those guys, and then bring in a quality piece or two. Or maybe even, maybe they even work something out where, like, say, Cam Reddish, right? Many people want to see the Lakers go get Cam Reddish. Well, maybe they take, like, Toscano Anderson and, Damian Jones in, like, 2 seconds or something and go get Cam Reddish. And then that way they still have their first, they still have Bev, they still have Nunn, and they still have, Russell Westbrook to do bigger deals down the line. They get a, 3-and-D style wing, a young player that they could have for now and the future. Just kind of start heading towards a sort of retooling of this roster, right? The Lakers, they feel like they're right there, right? The Lakers feel like they are a good team that is like the right two pieces away from being probably a really good team, if not a great team. And, they don't need to necessarily trade Russell Westbrook to make that happen, right? You trade Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, you go get, say, a Jakob Poeltl and a Josh Richardson, or you go get a Bojan Bogdanovic and, a Sadiq Bey, or, you get a couple pieces, right? PJ Washington, Kelly Oubre, something like that, right? Go get some pieces, add them to the rotation you already have. We're already seeing guys really kind of step up, right? You got Austin Reeves, who continues to have strong performances. Walker continues to have strong performances, right? You got about, right now, about 7 to 8 real quality guys, right? You got the big three. You got Walker, you got Reeves, you got Schroeder, you got Damian Jones, Thomas Bryant, and then Winning Gabriel, right? Those, like, 8 guys, right? Or like the primary rotation guys. Troy Brown, he has his moments here and there. Max Christie, he's a nice young prospect, but he's not really helping you right now. And then Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn are kind of like the odd men out, the ones that aren't really given a ton of production. Although Patrick Beverley did have a pretty solid game against Philadelphia. Got to credit him to that, but one game doesn't negate the other 25 games that they've already played, and Patrick Beverley's been terrible and really unwatchable in so many ways. So if the Lakers could get that one or two pieces to kind of just really round out the roster and kind of give you some quality, especially starter level production, then I really think that could go a long way, and the Lakers could kind of turn the corner here and try to get back into, the playoffs and then contention, right? If the Lakers get to the playoffs, all bets are off. But the big question is, what do you do with Russ? And do you end up trading him, right? I've seen a lot of people that are still kind of on the fence, right? A lot of people are like, look, Russell Westbrook is really great, but, the fit still isn't perfect. The fit still isn't seamless. And on top of that, like if you could get some quality players to kind of make up for his production. And to that, I do understand. Like, I'm not completely against trading Russell Westbrook, but there's a couple concerns I have with trading Russell Westbrook. Primarily, his chemistry with Anthony Davis. Like, a lot of Anthony Davis's big resurgence is because of Russell Westbrook, and Russell Westbrook setting Anthony Davis up and always looking for Anthony Davis. I mean, even at the end of the Philly game, like, Russell Westbrook could have taken it himself, drawn the contact, maybe got an and one, maybe scored, whatever, but he saw Anthony Davis right there. Let me get it to him. That was the right play. That was the smart play, right? You're not a good free throw shooter. Anthony Davis hasn't missed a free throw all game. He's really had a dominant fourth quarter, really great. You have the contest. Why not throw it around, give it to Anthony Davis, and let Anthony Davis make a play? Give it to your best player, let your best player make a play, right? Great decision, great move. I do not knock him for it. Unfortunately, Anthony Davis decided to miss one of the free throws, and it really hurt us, and we ended up losing in overtime. But regardless, right, it was the right play. Not just that, but what Russ brings off the bench is just, it's unparalleled, and it doesn't show in the stat sheets and stuff like that. His energy and his change of pace just gives the Lakers a completely different look. There have been countless games this season where the Lakers are just really stagnant, not looking very good, and they're like, they're down like, 12-2 or something, and then Russ comes in, and immediately they go on a run. It's happened a lot this year. And it's not even so much that Russ is, coming in and putting up 8 points in, a minute. No, it's just his energy. It's just the pace gets faster. The intensity picks up. He's all over the place. He's trying to make plays. He's setting up Anthony Davis, so he's getting Anthony Davis going. And I think that that's a real piece in his production that he's providing off the bench. And I'm not saying that like other guys can't give you production, but does trading Russell Westbrook eliminate a lot of the Anthony Davis dominance, right? Because for whatever reason, LeBron James and Anthony Davis haven't really had a good chemistry so far this season. And no one else is setting up Anthony Davis the way Russell Westbrook is, right? Dennis Schroeder isn't doing that. Austin Reeves isn't really doing that. Like Walker isn't really doing that. Like, yeah, they'll if he's open, they'll kind of dish it out to him and stuff, but they're not looking to go on the drive and set up Anthony Davis for an easy bucket, right? Russell Westbrook is doing that. And him and Anthony Davis's pick and roll is so lethal because of how aggressive Anthony Davis is off of that turn and attacks the basket, then puts the pressure on the defense, right? Because now they have to decide, do I step out and defend Russell Westbrook? If I don't, he gets an easy layup. But if I do, then it's an easy lob to Anthony Davis, and we're seeing it more times than not. Like, right, Russ will just get straight to the basket in a layup, or he's dumping it off to Anthony Davis and getting an easy bucket. And again, I'm not saying that you can't get other guys to come in, but it depends on what the trade is, what the deal is, right? At this point, you can't just trade Russ just to trade Russ. There's no real value in that, because not only are you losing the value that Russ brings, but on top of that, you need to be able to replace that productivity, and you also need to build new chemistry, and there's so many steps that go into it beyond just like, oh, let's just go get these 3 players for Russ, and now we're off to the races. Maybe that happens, but maybe it doesn't, right? Like even the Indiana Pacers trade that so many people want, right? Who's to say, what happens if that doesn't work? Who's to say it works, right? There's no guarantee that works. And you have to start the rebuilding process of building chemistry and people understanding the roles and all that stuff. Like right now you have definitive roles. Anthony Davis is the guy. Then it's LeBron James. Russell Westbrook is the 6th man. Russell Westbrook, when he's in the game, he plays this way without LeBron, plays this way with LeBron. And so far they've kind of been able to make the marriage work. A little rocky, but for the most part, they've been able to make it work, right? Plus, Russell Westbrook is a model of just health, right? I mean, he plays every game. He's always, like, one thing you never have to worry about is the energy, the intensity, and him showing up, right? He shows up to work every day with the smile on, no matter what. Even when he was going through everything and everybody just didn't like him and, fans were demanding he be traded and all that stuff, he still showed up. He still did his job. He's still completely changed and reinvented his game. And you have to get some value, because the problem is all the teams currently, based on, the information that we have and the things that we know, all of the teams, they all want Russell Westbrook for salary relief or to just gain assets. They're all rebuilding teams, right? So the problem is none of those teams actually want Russell Westbrook. And therefore, none of those teams see value in Russell Westbrook. Now, there is value in Russell Westbrook to the right team. So you either have to find a team that is like, man, we could really use Russell Westbrook and get some pieces, or you have to find a team that says, we'll give you, these guys, but, we won't take both first, or we won't take a first, or, something like that. And that's harder to do than anything else. Now, you could always also make the argument that you might as well get something for Russell Westbrook, because, chances are he's probably leaving after this year, because he's going to probably still want more money, right? He might want to change of scenery. As much as I would love to re-sign Russ on a reasonable contract, right? Say $16 million a year, something like that. If we could get something six-man money, basically. If we could get six-man money for Russell Westbrook, then I wouldn't mind bringing him back at all. But does he want that? Is he willing to do that? What other offers are out there? And does he want to stay around with the Lakers when all the fans basically tried to just, crucify the guy, and the Lakers did everything they could to trade the guy? So does he look at this and go, man, this is the place that I really want to be? I mean, look, he loves LA. It's his home. I'm sure there's a big part of him that wants to be here. And maybe he would take the hometown discount, but that really is a question that is worth asking. Does Russ really want to still be in LA? Or does he have another opportunity elsewhere? Because I think he goes to the first place that is willing to start him. If Miami's like, hey, come sign here, you're not going to get as much money, but we'll actually play you and start you. Or, the Knicks, maybe the Knicks are like, hey, we'll actually play you and start you. Then maybe all of a sudden he goes over there. I'm not saying either of those teams want him necessarily, but I'm just using that as an example. If some team wants him to come in and start, he's going to that team, right? Immediately. And so do you try to get something for Russell Westbrook? Because the whole preserving cap for next season, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's not really a bunch of free agents out there that are going to turn the tides, right? And yes, it'd be nice to be able to throw a bunch of money at Walker and stuff, but I think realistically, Walker has played himself into too big of a contract for the Lakers. I really do. I mean, look at what Jalen Brunson got. Jalen Brunson got, $25 million a year, right? And he had a 6-game sample size. It wasn't an entire season. It was a little small sample size. We're seeing Walker the entire season do this. And he's guarding the best player on the other team. And he's doing everything, and he's 23 years old. There is a team that is going to pay him and back up the Brinks truck for that man. It's probably going to happen, right? And the Lakers just can't afford to pay him $25 million a year or $20 million a year or something like that, right? So he's probably gone. And then, what? You sign maybe a Gary Trent? Does he really move the needle, right? Miles Turner, does he really move the needle? And those two guys, you could probably go trade for right now. But outside of that, who's left? There isn't really. Bojan Bogdanovic signed an extension. James Harden isn't coming to the Lakers. All the big names are basically gone. So if you're the Lakers, it wouldn't hurt to take on long-term salary. It just depends on what the players are, right? And if you're going to move Russ. So basically, the way I look at it is, if you're going to trade Russ, it has to be for the right deal. Has to be for the right package. And I think that is going to be a lot harder to find than otherwise, right? I just think that all the teams that want to trade for Russ all don't want Russ. They just want to either unload long-term salary or they want to, basically just get, the first round picks from the Lakers. So what team says, well, we're willing to just unload salary and, take on a couple seconds, right? Something like that. What team is willing to do that? That's probably what this is coming down to, and would a team like the Hornets, would they give up, PJ Washington to unload, Terry Rozier's contract? Maybe. The Knicks, there's talks about the Knicks that, they would basically give Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, and Cam Reddish for essentially free. Here, just take them. We'll take Russ, because they want to clear off that salary. They got to pay guys, right? RJ Barrett, he just got his extension. Obviously, they're paying Brunson. They want to get some of their younger guys more play time. So, they're looking at it as hey, if we can unload Cam Reddish and use him as a way to unload, Evan Fournier's contract or even Julius Randle's contract, then great. And so, but is that a deal that makes sense for the Lakers? I don't really think so. And then again, the Hornets deal. Like PJ Washington would be great. I would love to get PJ Washington. But Terry Rozier is still a really good player. Yeah, his contract's kind of, it's long-term salary, but in like 2 years, he's probably going to have one of the best contracts in the league when the salary cap jumps up. And Kelly Oubre is an expiring deal who can actually make an impact, 3-and-D style, bigger wing, right? So like there's value in those players, yes. But do they look at moving off of Terry Rozier enough to warrant not having to take on draft picks? I don't know. I don't think so. So that's the problem. So it's not that I'm not against trading Russell Westbrook, but I think people need to like look at the entire picture. Like, one, are you getting the production that you get from Russell Westbrook? Because it's not just him scoring. It's him setting guys up and him allowing Anthony Davis to really shine. He's a big reason for Anthony Davis shining. I mean, he had like 50 with that 55-point game. Like Russ accounted for like 20 of those points, right? Like literally like half of them. So that's something we got to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Think the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook? Do you think they should keep him? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Love to hear them. Let me know down in the comment section below.